they won the game.
Right.
And yet, when I look on Twitter and when I look at people commenting on Grant's videos, no one's talking about they won a game.
No.
They're all talking about what happened to Trey Lance. And let's be clear, what Kyle Shanahan did to him.
Yes.
So my question to you, Iggy, why is the emphasis not on a victory? Because every win in the NFL is major. And why is the emphasis on what happened to Trey Lance?
It's nice to win week 2, but this team was just in the NFC Championship game last year. They've been in the Super Bowl. They're trying to get over the hump. Like, these aren't the Warriors or the Giants. They've never won a Super Bowl, and they're trying to do it for the first time. And they decided that Jimmy wasn't good enough because he can't throw down the field. If he would have hit Emmanuel Sanders on that long throw, he would have been good enough. They would have won the Super Bowl, but he doesn't throw down the field. And so they brought in a quarterback who does. And he represented hope that if they could just, develop him a little bit, that he could be the missing piece. Because the Niners are so close on their own with the run game and defense. And to get him so gruesomely injured, so unnecessarily, like not throwing, running between the tackles, when you were trying to develop him, you sat him for a year so you could develop him as a passer. And you know what? In the first game before it started raining, he threw some nice throws down the field. But his whole season is ended because you wanted to run him between the tackles. That's tough.
Right. So what comes out of the victory is a net loss.
Yes.
It doesn't feel like a victory, even though it was a victory. And it's very important to win. But it feels like a net loss because the quarterback that the coach invested in is no longer there. The quarterback that he pinned his hopes on because he decided Trey Lance is better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yes.
He didn't decide Jimmy's better. They wanted to get rid of Jimmy.
Yeah. There was no quarterback competition. It was all Trey.
It was all Trey. They wouldn't even let Jimmy throw.
Yeah.
So he was out. And the guy who he pinned his hopes on, who pinned his future on, he ruined. It's almost like Greek tragedy, Iggy.
Yes.
The guy that he wanted, that Kyle wanted, he ruined for at least a season. And Iggy, who knows what he's going to be when he comes back?
It's true. Now, I don't want to be too doom and gloom here. He had an injury that's similar to Dak Prescott's injury a couple of years ago. Dak Prescott has made a full recovery. He's still a good player. Now, they don't run him between the tackles. Kyle's been very defensive, and we're going to talk about his attitude.
We'll talk about that in a minute because I got more to say.
Because he basically says he didn't do anything wrong. He always says that. But let's see what his actions are next year when Trey Lance comes back. I bet you he's not calling these run between the tackles next time. I bet you won't.
I want to read you something. A former coach, I'm not going to say who, a former coach in the league wrote me an email about the play where Trey went up the middle, power run, and ruined his season. I feel sick to my stomach about the injury because the play call was not integral to the outcome of the game, and at that time, not considered a must call, considering down and distance and the defense on the field, coupled with the success of the Niner run game from real ball carriers.
Yep.
Did you hear that? This isn't me. This is a very respected coach in the league, sick to his stomach because of what Kyle did. And let's be real clear. I got people running that it was an option. He could have. The point is, one of the options was to run right up the middle.
Yep.
Not around the edge, up the middle where there are very big men, where running backs get hurt.
Yep.
You can replace running backs.
Yep.
Quarterbacks, no, you don't do that because if Jimmy get hurt, you're down to Mr. Irrelevant. This is a very significant thing that happened, and it's on Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, and what's crazy is Trey hadn't even demonstrated that he was a great runner. He's averaging 4 yards a carry. It's okay. He's not Colin Kaepernick. He's not Cam Newton. And so, like, all these running backs were doing better than him. Just let him hand off because it seemed like the threat defenses were keyed in on Trey running. The threat of him running was making things better for other people. Kyle had shown that he could win games with quarterbacks just handing off. Why all of a sudden did the quarterback have to become the focal point of his running game? That's such a gimmick offense. There is a obvious reason that no other NFL team would make their quarterback the focal point of their running game because he's going to get hurt. You invested 3 first-round picks in this guy. You can't get him hurt like that. And it happened. It was, like you said, it was not a critical point in the game. It was 2:33 left in the first quarter. The Niners were in control. The Seahawks had one drive, one punt, one first. They're doing nothing. And the Niners running backs, why don't you let the running backs do their job? How about that?
And it was 2nd and 8. It was just another play. Had it been a play for the game in the fourth quarter, sure, you'd certainly consider it. It was just another down. And Jeff Wilson or whoever could have gotten those 4 yards. And then you would have 3rd and short. So, people say, well, when did you ever coach a team? What do you know more than Kyle? You know what? In this case, I think he was wrong. And I think Grant and I are right.
Yeah, I think we laid out our points too.
I got a coach here is telling me the same thing. And this coach won a Super Bowl.
And again, we watched Colin Kaepernick. We watched Russell Wilson. These are guys who were very successful running, and the teams were successful protecting them. They did not run 13 times a game. They ran about 5, 6, maybe 7 times a game if it was a playoff game. And the whole thing was he's gonna scramble a few times, 4, 5, and he's gonna keep it once or twice. And you don't know when. You don't know when. And so the defense has to be ready for it all freaking game. And it comes on a critical play when they least expect it. And it works. But you don't do it 3 times. They did it 3 times in the first quarter for Trey Lance between the tackles. Like, this is going to be our base offense. Nah, man, that's not it. There's not enough reward there. You're not getting big plays. You're only going to get big hits on the quarterback.
Iggy, how many times did Josh Allen run last night?
Once.
1. And Kyle's always comparing what he does to what they do with Josh Allen.
That's right.
They're not trying to get Josh Allen killed.
No. And you know why Josh Allen only ran the ball once last night? Because he didn't have to run the ball. The defense only gave up 7 points. He was throwing well. The running backs were running well. You only do that if you freaking have to. Game's on the line. That's your best option. Fine. But you can't tell me it was their best option. I got a stat for you. Hold on. In the first quarter of this game, hold on. Got it. Hold on. Okay. In the first quarter of this game, damn it. Where is it? I lost it. Anyway, everyone else was running really well. I think Debo was averaging 25 yards a carry. Ty Davis Price was averaging 5 yards a carry. Jeff Wilson Jr. was averaging 6 yards a carry. And Trey was averaging 4 yards a carry. He's your last option to run the ball.
Right.
Your last option. And Kyle was treating him like his first option. Crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to make this really clear what Grant and I are doing. We are really criticizing Kyle Shanahan. I'll call it dereliction of duty. Mm-hmm. And it's not personal. I've never met the man. I think he does certain things very well. Not enough things, but certain things very well. But I am really, really critical of him right now. In fact, I'm appalled, disgusted, and aghast. Not because I'm a Niner fan, but because I'm a football fan, and I want to see things done the right way and not put a player in harm's way needlessly. And for people to say, well, it's football, people get hurt. Sure they do, but you don't send them into harm's way when there were 3 or 4 other options.